Welcome to Decoded Daily. This episode is brought to you by IdeaData. Join thousands of professionals in AI, tech, and business from Fortune 500 companies like IBM, MetLife, Amazon, and more, who get smarter on AI, tech, and new markets with our newsletter. The link is in the show notes. You know, you've sent us a ton of articles about AI automation.
It's just like it's everywhere you turn these days.
Yeah. Another headline about AI. So today we're doing a deep dive into these articles. Let's figure out what's really going on.
AI automation is definitely having a moment. But what's really interesting to me is it's not just about automating simple tasks anymore. We're seeing a shift towards what everyone's calling AI agents.
That term AI agents, it kept popping up in the articles we were reading. What does that even mean?
Is it just a fancy new name for bots?
Yeah, is it just a rebrand?
Not quite.
Okay.
Think of it this way. A basic bot follows pre-programmed instructions. Step 1, step 2, step 3, like a recipe. An AI agent, on the other hand, is more like a chef. You give it a goal, right?
Right.
Let's say, make me dinner. And it figures out the steps on its own, adapting to what's available and even coming up with new dishes.
Oh, that's so cool. So they can actually learn and adapt.
Exactly.
Wow, that's pretty wild.
Yeah.
What are the implications of that?
The implications are huge, yeah.
I bet.
Gartner, for example, they're predicting that we're going to be seeing fleets of AI workers really soon.
Fleets of AI workers. What does that look like?
Essentially, these AI agents will be able to take on more and more complex tasks, even potentially working alongside human employees.
Wow. Fleets of AI workers. That sounds almost like a science fiction movie.
It does, a little bit.
Do you think these AI agents could eventually replace human jobs? I mean, that's got to be the question on everyone's mind, right?
Yeah, for sure. That's a question a lot of people are asking. And actually, the UVA Today article you sent in touch on this, they highlighted concerns about job displacement.
Yeah.
Across a whole range of sectors, from actors to, dock workers.
And it's not just blue-collar jobs that are potentially at risk. Even writers are worried about AI taking over their work.
Yeah, and it's understandable, right?
For sure.
But it's not all doom and gloom, I don't think. Some experts believe that AI agents could actually create new jobs and opportunities.
Oh, interesting.
Think about it. Someone needs to design, build, and manage these AI, right?
That's a good point.
So there's jobs there. And also the CEO of Sam's Club, who was quoted in one of the articles saying that their automation efforts aren't about cutting jobs at all. It's actually about making their employees more efficient.
I see. So it's more about working with the AI, not against it.
Exactly. So the impact of AI automation on jobs is really complex. It's not a simple question of robots are taking over. It's much more nuanced than that.
For sure, yeah. And speaking of impact, it seems like AI automation is popping up in every industry imaginable. It's not just tech anymore. I was surprised by some of the examples in these articles.
Absolutely. AI is no longer confined to Silicon Valley. Let's take retail, for instance. We're seeing something called tiny AI models. They're being used to personalize the shopping experience and optimize pricing in real time.
Tiny AI models. I've never even heard of that before. What are those?
They're essentially very efficient AI algorithms that can run on smaller devices, like even in store, Imagine you walk into a store and the AI recognizes you, knows your past purchases, and instantly personalizes promotions or product recommendations just for you.
That sounds incredibly personalized.
It is.
Almost a little, I don't know, maybe a little creepy. But I can definitely see how that would be a game changer for retailers.
Yeah, it's a level of personalization we've never seen before. And then there's the use of AI in self-checkout kiosks. They're becoming more and more sophisticated.
Yeah, those are already pretty common, but it sounds like they're getting even smarter.
Exactly, yeah. And it's not just retail. Healthcare is another area where AI is making big waves. For example, at Clinical Works, they're using AI to automate those tedious appeals processes. That way, it frees up healthcare professionals to actually, focus on patient care.
That makes a lot of sense. Anything that can reduce administrative burden in healthcare, I'm all for it.
Right.
Yeah. I also found the manufacturing examples really interesting. Siemens and ThyssenKrupp are actually using AI to train workers and help them adapt to new technologies.
Yeah, and that's a really important point, I think. AI isn't just about replacing workers. It can also be used to upskill them and help them stay relevant in a changing job market.
Right. It's all about working with AI.
Exactly.
Not against it.
And it's happening globally. The NVIDIA CEO is actually advocating for India to start manufacturing its own AI specifically for industrial automation.
It seems like no industry is immune to this AI revolution.
Yeah.
It's everywhere.
It's true. We're seeing AI being applied in finance for things like personalized marketing and managing routine customer customer inquiries. Even dentists are using AI to optimize their practices now.
Wow, dentists using AI. I never would
Uh-uh.
have guessed that one. And what about cybersecurity? It seems like AI would be a perfect fit for that industry. I mean, makes sense, right?
Totally. Absolutely. AI is being used to analyze massive amounts of data to identify potential security threats in real time. Companies like Corology are even using AI to classify sensitive data and protect it from breaches.
Okay, that's actually really reassuring, especially with all the data breaches we hear about these days. So, I mean, it seems like AI is pretty much everywhere you look these days. What about customer service? Will AI eventually replace human customer service reps?
That's a valid concern. An article from IT Brief New Zealand talked about NICE launching an AI-driven platform that can handle a lot of the tasks that customer service reps currently do.
So like those automated chatbots we all know, and I don't know, maybe love is a strong word, but those are about to get a whole lot smarter.
Yeah, it seems that way. But it's important to remember that even with all of these advances in AI automation, the human touch is still incredibly valuable, especially when it comes to complex or sensitive customer interactions.
So again, it's not about replacing humans with AI.
Exactly. AI can handle the routine tasks, freeing up humans to focus on the more complex and nuanced interactions that require empathy, creativity, critical thinking, that kind of thing.
Right.
Those are important things.
Yeah, it really is a fascinating time to be, following all of this.
It is.
We've talked a lot about the different ways AI is being used across industries, but, it's important to circle back to that potential impact on jobs and the workforce as a whole.
That's the big question looming over all of this, isn't it? What happens to people's jobs when AI can do them faster, better? Right? It's a valid concern. And it's something that, we need to be thinking about seriously. But it's not necessarily a simple equation of AI equals job losses.
Right. It seems like there are a lot of different perspectives on this. Some people are predicting like mass unemployment,
Yeah.
while others are more optimistic about the potential for AI to create new jobs, new opportunities.
Exactly, yeah. One of the arguments that we keep hearing is that AI will free up human workers from those, tedious, repetitive tasks,
Right.
allowing them to focus on more creative and fulfilling work.
Yeah, like instead of spending hours on data entry, you could be using that time to brainstorm new ideas or build relationships with clients.
Exactly. It's about leveraging AI to augment human capabilities, not replace them entirely.
But what about the people whose jobs are primarily focused on those tasks that AI can now automate? What happens to them?
Yeah, that's where the need for reskilling and upskilling comes in. We need to make sure that people whose jobs are, displaced by AI have the resources and support that they need to transition into new roles.
And several of the articles touched on this, emphasizing the importance of investing in education and workforce development programs.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's not just about acquiring new technical skills. It's also about developing those uniquely human skills that are going to be even more valuable in an AI-driven world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, things like critical thinking, problem solving, creativity, emotional intelligence.
Exactly. Those are the skills that, at least for now, AI can't replicate. So we need to be focusing on developing those skills in our workforce.
So it's not just about learning how to code.
Right.
It's about learning how to think critically and creatively, how to solve problems that connect with people on a human level.
That's right. And that's going to require a multifaceted approach, right? We need collaboration between governments, educational institutions, businesses to create a system that supports, workforce transition, lifelong learning, things like that.
Yeah, it sounds like a pretty big challenge, but also like an incredible opportunity to rethink how we approach education and workforce development.
It is. And we need to be proactive, forward-thinking. The jobs of the future are going to look very different from the jobs of today, and we need to prepare our workforce for that reality.
So what advice would you give to someone listening to this who's maybe feeling a little anxious about the future of their job in an AI-driven world?
Well, first and foremost, I'd say stay informed. Keep up with the latest developments in AI and how it's impacting your industry.
Knowledge is power, as they say.
It really is, yeah. The more you understand about AI and its potential impact, the better equipped you'll be to, adapt and thrive.
And what about skills development? What are some specific skills people should be focusing on?
Well, think about the tasks that are most likely to be automated in your field.
Okay.
And focus on developing skills that complement those areas.
So if you're a data analyst, for example, you might want to start learning more about machine learning and AI algorithms.
Exactly, yeah. But don't neglect those uniquely human skills we talked about earlier. Critical thinking, problem solving, creativity, emotional intelligence.
Those are going to be in high demand no matter how sophisticated AI becomes.
Exactly, yeah. And don't be afraid to embrace lifelong learning. The skills you have today might not be the skills you need 5 or 10 years from now, right?
Right.
Be open to new opportunities to learn and grow.
It's all about being adaptable, staying ahead of the curve.
Yeah, and finally, don't underestimate the power of your own agency, you know? You have a voice in shaping the future of AI. Engage in conversations about responsible AI development. Share your perspective and advocate for policies that promote ethical and equitable use of this technology.
That's a powerful message.
Yeah.
We're not just passive bystanders in this technological revolution. We have the ability and responsibility to shape the way AI is developed and integrated into our lives.
Absolutely, yeah. So stay curious, stay engaged, and most importantly, stay human.
Well said. So we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive into AI automation.
We have.
From the rise of AI agents to the potential impact on jobs in the workforce, it's clear that this technology is going to have a profound impact on our lives in the years to come.
It is. And while there are certainly challenges to be addressed, there are also incredible opportunities to leverage AI to improve our lives, create a better future.
It's an exciting and maybe a little bit daunting time to be alive.
It is.
And a big thank you to IdeaData for sponsoring this deep dive.
Yes. Thank you.
Their newsletter is a fantastic resource for anyone who wants to stay, ahead of the curve in AI, tech, and new markets. They do a great job of kind of cutting through all the noise and delivering the insights that really matter.
Absolutely.
Definitely. So if you're feeling a little overwhelmed by all the information that's out there, where to start, IdeaData is a great place.
For sure. It's a fascinating time to be following all of this, and I'm excited to see what the future holds.
Me too. If you want to stay ahead of the curve in AI and tech, be sure to check out IdeaData. Join thousands of professionals in AI, tech, and business from Fortune 500 companies like IBM, MetLife, Amazon, and more. Get smarter on AI, tech, and new markets with our newsletter. The link is in the show notes.